The John journey is God's way of bringing in one of the greatest harvests that Africa has ever seen. Judea Harvest was 10 years old and God spoke with me. We've spent millions of rands, more than 100 million rand, buying tents, buying Bibles, buying resources, putting tents out in the field, planting churches, and we've planted more than 5,000 churches, and we thank God and bless God for that. But when we were 10 years old, God spoke with me and the concept of John Journey was birthed. John Journey is even simpler than Judea Harvest. It's even cheaper than Judea Harvest. John Journey is a house evangelism, house discipleship, house church planting drive. We cannot sit and wait for resources to come, money to buy tents, money to buy buildings, money to buy land. It's a long and tedious process to wait for all that money before we can work for God, win souls and plant churches. There's a great move of God going worldwide. It is very strong in China, it's very strong in India, and it's starting to be mobilized in Africa, and it's called the house church movement. Now don't misunderstand me. The house church movement is not a couple of disgruntled Christians that crossed with their pastor, therefore left their church and now started a house church. That's not the house church movement. That's migrating Christians from one church to another. I'm not talking about migrating Christians. I'm talking about a strategy like Luke 10 that penetrates a house and enters a house and reaches lost people for Christ and turning the house of a lost person into a house of God, a house of hope, a church, and reaching those members of that household and their extended households and neighbors and friends for Christ. And while they reach them for Christ in the house, they disciple them for Christ in that house, and they use that house to plant a new church. The word God spoke in my heart when we launched the John Journey a couple of years ago is the best pulpit in this world is the coffee table in the house of an unbeliever. And this video that I'm sharing with you today is the first in a series of hundreds of videos that I'm going to break up the John Journey and give you the section per section, component per component, truth per truth, strategy as we unfold it, and put it all on this series of videos for you. So you need to track with us the John Journey. In short, the John Journey is all about mobilizing any Christian anywhere in the world, wherever any Christian anywhere in the world picks up this book and reads it, hears the Lord speak with him. He has a resource tool. This is not a book. This is not just one of the must-reads. Many people advertise their books and say, this is a must-read. This is not a must-read. This book, if you pick it up and you work it through, and God speaks with you, you can become a soul winner for Christ, not reaching people in Pakistan, reaching the people in your house and the people living next to you, your extended family for Christ. This book will mobilize and empower you to do prayer evangelism, friendship evangelism, power evangelism. And God can use you to reach the lost people right in your life. That's step 1 of John Journey. Step 2 of John Journey, this book has a whole chapter that'll equip you to become a disciple maker, because Christ never called us and sent us out into the world to go and tell people about Jesus. Jesus said, go make disciples. That's the command. That's the job. So this book will empower you and teach and train you to become a disciple maker of Christ. And that's the strong emphasis of the John Journey. Africa have received much crusades, much preaching at. Most African people have been preached at by the great, wonderful mass evangelists. And I salute them. We thank God for them. They were like the plows that plowed through the country, through the continent, and made people aware of this loving Jesus that loves them and wants to become the Lord of their lives. John Journey goes the next step and says discipleship is the next step, the key thing to do. The Church of Jesus Christ in Africa will rise or fall on discipleship. And John Journey takes the discipleship challenge very seriously and equips any believer that reads it to become a disciple maker, a true disciple maker of Christ. The last step is once you've reached people for God, you've discipled them, then you need to plant churches that plant churches. You need to start a multiplication process. And the beautiful thing about this is it doesn't cost any money. This book hardly costs any money to print. And after the book, we give the John Journey Leadership Bibles, full Bibles, and we give them John Gospels. We have 4 million of those. And we can put this out and reach thousands and millions of people for Jesus. And in the next couple of videos, I'm going to take you through the series of how this program works and the detailed equipping thereof. So I see you next time.